Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're continuing in the Hachaim. We're beginning Parshat Mishpatim, Perek of Aleph Pasuk Aleph. We want to thank the Dvar Torah Foundation for making this shir available. Also, this shir is Lulei Nishmas, Marenu, Hachaim Yisrael, Marav Dov Belsky, whose yahrzeit is today. And the learning of the Hachaim should be a schus for his neshama and for all of us. The pasuk says that Hakadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe Rabbeinu, these are the mishpatim that you should place in front of them. What are they? The mitzvah of Eved Ivri. The mitzvah that if a person needs money or he has stolen money and in order to help him pay back, he has to sell himself for 6 years. These are the mitzvahs asher tasim lefnehem. Tam oimru b'lashon zeh. The Hachaim right away jumps and says, why did the pasuk use this lashon that you should place them in front of them? Hagam shar b'seinu zal dorshu drashos. Even though the Chachamim brought different drashas asher tasim lefnehem, tzarich ledas pshatim shel dvarim. What is the Parshat pshat? Why didn't it say you should teach them l'lamid oisam beila mishpatim asher leimor? You should tell them the word asher tasim lefnehem. This phrase seems to be trying to hint to something, says the Hachaim, and he's trying to figure out why. Now the Hachaim is going to categorize mitzvahs into two separate categories, and to teach us how to approach the learning and understanding of these mitzvahs. What is our obligation in learning and understanding these mitzvahs? How to go about doing that. And through that, we're going to learn how to approach the mitzvah of Eved Ivri. V'ulai, says the Hachaim, Kiliyas sheyesh chalokim b'Torah. There are different categories in the Torah. Shem chayvas gavra ledas es asher yavodu. There are certain things that we have to know how to serve Hashem. V'zulazeh, and without knowing these parts of the Torah, Einon b'nei bris haTorah, you are not a member of Klal Yisrael. An unbelievable phrase that he uses. If you do not know these halachas, if you do not know these concepts, you cannot be categorized as a member of Klal Yisrael. Why? And he's going to explain. Hamashal b'zeh. For example, im lo yoda she'asur le'echol treifa. Everybody has to know that you're not allowed to eat treifa. Now, it's possible, as the Hachaim is going to explain, certain details you may not need to know because you can go to a Rav, but every member of Klal Yisrael is obligated to know that there's a concept called treifa. And what is a treifa? There's a concept in Basar v'Cholav. There's a concept of Shabbos. There's a concept that we're not allowed to eat Adam, and we're not allowed to eat chaylev. And there's a concept as a mitzvah to say to eat a carbon Pesach, Mitzvah Hashem, and to eat matzah, and not to eat chametz. These are not things that we go to the Rav and say, what is my obligation on Pesach? It is up to us. It's upon us, it's incumbent to us. Right? Before Purim, what do we have to know regarding Purim? Before Pesach, what are our obligations for Pesach? Yes, throughout Pesach, there could be shilas that come up so that we can know the Rav. We can go to the Rav, we can go to the Dayan. But that's only because we know there's an Isser of chametz. There's a mitzvah saseh of eating matzah. There's a mitzvah saseh of putting on tefillin, of lulav, of esrig, of sukkos. There's a mitzvah saseh of not eating certain things. If a person does, he could even be chayu treifas. That is our obligation. We cannot say we did not know. There's always obligation on our part. What do we need to know? For example, Shabbos. There are things that we have to know that are asur on Shabbos. A shayla could come. Okay, does this fit into the category of not? Cooking, basar v'cholav, bishul, all these different things, the nuances that, as the Hachaim is going to say in a second, we can go to a Rav to clarify the shayla. But you have to know, says the Hachaim, that there is a shayla. And if you don't know, you're not considered, says the Hachaim, a b'nei haTorah, part of Klal Yisrael. V'mitzvah saseh Pesach, matzah, umora, shisas hayomim, not working on Shabbos, Hamukudashim, and on Yom Tov. You must be aware of them. You cannot say, I did not know. You cannot say, I didn't know that there's an obligation for Tillin, for Sukkos. Now, it's true that many of the mitzvahs, there's an obligation on the parents to teach the kids, to be mechanech the kids. And if there's no parents, then there's the Rebbe. But ultimately, it's on the individual to go and say, what is my obligation? Pesach is coming. What do I need to know? Right? That's what the Chacham instituted. Shloshim Yom B'fnei HaChag. We start darshaning. The Rav gets up and starts darshaning. There's Mishnah Brura. There's Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. There's different svarim. There's different things that we have to know. right? The Shaila, as the Hachaim is going to explain, that you may not know certain nuances and certain pratim and certain things. Is this in the category of Basa v'Chalav? Is this in the category of Boirer for Shabbos? That you can go to the Rav. V'yesh b'china acheres, like we explained. There's certain other things, like going to a bezdin, hilchas kiddush hachodesh, hilchas karbonos kedoima, that ha'emes ki choivas yediyas ha'toyra l'chol Yisrael. We are obligated to know the entire Torah, from Aleph to Beis. You cannot say, I don't know Kiddush HaChodesh. You have to try your best to know as much as you can about Karbonos, about Shabbos. There are certain things that if you don't know, Hashem will not withdraw His eyes from the person, from the tzaddik. Kol sheyesh b'Yisrael gedolim sheyishbetu v'yikachu v'yoru mishpatim Yisrael. Right? The average person does not have to know all the pratim, says the Hachaim, of Kiddush HaChodesh. Yes, it's a mitzvah, and if you don't know it, it's not complete. But if you don't know it, we have Rabbanim that know how to be Mekadosh the Chodesh. Right? You don't have to know exactly all the different halachas regarding Toin v'Nitan. Right? It's obviously, if you don't know it, it's not complete, but you're not a Rasha. You're not considered not a member of Klal Yisrael. Because you can go to a Rav, there's Dayanim, there are experts. That's why we go to Rabbanim for Shailas. We have Batei Dinim. But you're not considered not a B'nai Bris. There are certain categories that if you don't know, you're not considered part of Klal Yisrael. And with this introduction and with this understanding, the two different categories of mitzvahs, Hashem said over here by Eved Ivri, Ashatosim lifnehem. You have to put these halachas in front of Klal Yisrael. These dinim regarding Eved, every single person in Klal Yisrael has to know. Because if you're buying an Eved and you don't know the halachas, you may not know that you can only acquire him for 6 years. And you may have paid more, you may have paid less, you may have then gone to someone else. And the person himself might not be aware that after 6 years, he's free to go. He could also go earlier if he has money. But at least he doesn't work more than 6 years. The judges also don't know. This reason Hashem said, every member of Klal Yisrael must know the halachas of Eved Ivri. Because if you don't know that you don't go out for 6 years, how are you going to go to the Rav and ask him? You don't know, right? But if you know you can go out after 6 years for free, then you can go to the Rav and say, listen, is it 6 years already? Right? Now you can start handling the shaila is 6 years. But if you don't even know that, then you can't even come to the Rav to ask him the shaila. And that's why Hashem said, these are mitzvahs that you have to know, because this mitzvah you would have thought to say, well, it's not important to know. Says the Torah Hakadosh, it's very important to know. When you look at the next pasuk base, ki sikneh is like a general statement to anybody who's involved. When you buy, why? When you buy an Eved Ivri, you should know you can only buy him for 6 years. When you sell yourself as an Eved Ivri, you can only sell yourself for 6 years. It's true that Achas HaYovel, but lechatchila, it's only for 6 years. If you don't know that, you may pay much more than you wanted to have paid. You may have gotten the different evidence you wanted to have gotten. And the person himself who sold himself may not know. And therefore, it's important, says the Torah, that everybody knows the halachas of Eved Ivri. Oid Yirtzah, another explanation. This is a mitzvah that should be to everybody. There's a mitzvah of freeing an Eved Ivri. Right? Pirush, the guy who buys the Eved is not running to set the Eved free. But now that he knows it's a mitzvah to do it, he will do it. You should tell every person of Klal Yisrael that there's a mitzvah to free somebody. And not only that, if Chas v'Shalom you have to become an Eved Ivri, there's a mitzvah that you should know that your owner has to free you. And therefore everybody will understand that it's a schus for him. And they'll want to learn it. And because it may be something, unfortunately, that may become applicable to them, or to their kids, or to their grandkids, or to their friends, or to their relatives. And therefore, not only is this a mitzvah to know, it's for your benefit to know, says the Hachaim. And therefore, therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu put this in front of them, that everybody should understand that it's possible that the 6th year may be relevant to them. Because Dilma is Galgal, Allah Galgal, and therefore, it will, unfortunately, not everybody is wealthy forever. There's always sometimes someone who's wealthy, someone who's poor. And therefore, Zehu Schusla would actually be a benefit for him to learn this mitzvah, to know what his options are, what his rights are. And therefore, Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, make sure that every member of Klal Yisrael knows this halacha.